I mean, most of you I know, of course, but for everyone who doesn't know me yet, I'm in Pond5, heading up PR for Germany, Austria and Switzerland. And I'm happy to introduce you to our special speaker today from Mattel, and of course, Tuan Nguyen from Jungformat Nerd. I need to say that on top of it. And he's the expert for cultural fandom and for Kidult. So that's why we are talking about it today. Happy to have him here, and it's a pleasure to be with you here today. So, and then, of course, I also have Sebastian Trischler with me. He is our managing director for the DACH region and VP e-commerce, which is super important, especially for this line as well. So, Sebastian, it would be great if you can tell us a little bit around our Kidult topic. So come to me and yeah, maybe you can talk a little bit about it. Tuan, happy to have you on stage as well. So yeah, enjoy.
Thanks a lot, Anna. And welcome everybody to Mattel. Thanks a lot for coming over. Thanks a lot for making the long way also back to our booth. We know it's a little bit a long one, but I think it's worth it. Very, very warm welcome. You know, so it's the first day of the 71st Nürnberg Toy Fair. And we at Mattel, we believe that play is for everyone. And we also believe that we are never too old to play. And you also see this in all our galleries this year, that we have a special section for all Kidult fans, for all adult fans, where we have a fantastic portfolio that we are showcasing. When we heard that the fair is putting Kidult as the main topic of this fair, we could not have been more excited. We as Mattel have extremely iconic brands that per se are there to resonate longer and resonate, for instance, in particular with adults. Barbie's Signature, you know, I see a lot of Master of the Universe fans here. Polly Pocket, Hot Wheels, or Little People are just a couple of examples where we are able to target different audiences, in particular the adults. And we see this in all our galleries this year. So now the question is, why is this such a hot topic at the moment? Why is this momentum there for Kidults? Who is the audience? Is it a car enthusiast that loves our Hot Wheels cars that are done from our awesome designers, some of them here today? Or is it just somebody who's a franchise lover, who's following from a crazy social post and thinks, I want to have that? Or is it just somebody who remembers it was lovely to play with one of the Mattel brands, or with one brands in the older days, and wants to get a refreshed memory on how was this back then when I was playing in the 80s, for instance, or before that with toys? And a couple of those questions we are asking ourselves, and we are extremely happy that together with Tuan, who is a specialist, we were having research to understand why now? What drives a purchase? Is it only because the product is hot? Is it because it's expensive? Is it both? So there's a lot to tap in this extremely interesting audience. And with this, I hand over to you, Tuan. And thanks a lot again from the whole Mattel team to come, that you're coming. And also you, Tuan. Let's go. Rock and roll.
Hi. I hope you can hear me all right. It's an honor and also a pleasure to be here, especially as pleasure and joy. And this is what this presentation will be also about. I think the sound is kind of weird. Can you hear? Is it still good?
Ja. Jetzt sind wir hier wieder.
Okay. Being spontaneous is one of the key skills that you need if you're a speaker. So, all right, let's do this one. Okay, so I'm going to present you a very special study today in research, and this study has a very funny name. I don't know if you've seen this already, but it's called The Emotional Landscape of Adult Toy Buying and the Magic of Toys on Our Inner Child. So this may seem like a very weird title, right? But I'm going to take you into a journey of what this actually means, and also this is something that just got from now. Do you hear me all right? Because this, yeah, okay. All right, so the inspiration for the study, Sebastian already told you about all the trends, the main topic of Kidult, and this sparking point was to understand what was happening. And basically, I'm trying to convey and combine 3 trends that are actually being intervened at one thing. Number 1, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my career or what I've done before, but 5 years ago, when I started my own company, I realized one thing. Everything that was breaking records had something to do with either dragons, spaceships, spandex suits, right? Or capes and masks. And when my board of advisors approached me and said, Tuan, do you want to found a company and do something? I was like, yeah, sure. There's something that seems to be more big than anyone else would expect. And it turned out to be something called fandom. Not sure if you're familiar with the numbers, but if you look into fantasy, science fiction, gaming, and collecting cards, will come and add up to a market which is the size of $250 billion, which is actually 5 times football if you compare the market volume and the revenue on this. And that was something really interesting, and also something that peaked with the last year Barbie movie, when everyone was like, okay, something is happening in pop culture and it's interesting. And that was like 5 years ago. But then we realized something else, which was not only on the entertainment side. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but at one point, rappers, superstars, and athletes started to wear toyish, cartoon-like styles. My entire Instagram feed posting was filled with adults posting Hot Wheels video reels, right? And Barbie backdrops. And I was like, hey, something is happening which goes beyond the screen where you're just a passive consumer, right? But it's actually something that makes people a lot more active, a lot more emotion involved, up to the point where people are wearing red big cartoon boots from Japan. And I was like, okay, something is happening in our society and I really want to understand why. So we were trying to find a pattern here. And the best research that you can do is a research that finds something out about yourself, if you explore your own psychology. So sorry, Mattel, I told you that was a joint research, but actually I just wanted to do my own therapy. So what was that pattern? And most of you who have children or have parents, so probably all of you, right, are probably familiar with one concept. And that was the concept of the inner child. So why the inner child? I'm not sure, actually in this audience everyone will probably know. At one point, I walked into the Smith Toys, right? And you know all, the landscape, the retail, and I was like, this is weird. Why is everything looking the same like 10 years ago, like 15 years ago, like 30 years ago? Galeria, Kaufhof, Karstadt, right? Walmart, all those toy aisles look the same. And I wanted to understand why, because I had the feeling some people probably have the incentive to protect that space. And then I realized that what are the reasons why I buy toys? Last time, like 2 weeks ago, I bought a Schleich van for my little 2 daughters, and I bought myself a Turtles van too, which cost like 50 euros, right? To tell my wife that I could play the Vans toy of my Schleich daughters alongside with my Turtles toy, which was a good story. But the real reason why I bought this toy was, when I was small, I came back, like my family grew up in Germany, I couldn't afford this turtle van. It was like simply just too expensive. And I always desperately wanted to have that van. And buying this van filled me with so much pride and happiness. And I was like, hey, this is maybe more than just like buying something to play. It has a deeper emotional feeling. And then, again, I'm the daddy of 2 girls, right? So it's really important to give my daughters a good sense of self-esteem, and to be a good dad, a good mom. And then I was like, okay, maybe this has something to do with our inner child. something, you know, that we all carry in ourselves. And I was like, okay, you know, let's just combine this. Let's try to find all those things and just do the research and look into the numbers. Because for some reason I had the impression it's all clear, right? We're buying this for, not for ourselves, but for actually the younger version of us. So, this is what we did, and we wanted to deep on the level. So the results are really, really interesting. It's really about nostalgia, and it's about escapism. 56% of the people who buy toys as adults for themselves, right, buy this because of nostalgic reasons. I mean, that is no surprise. We all have seen this, we all have felt this. Almost 70% of the people who buy this because it reminds them of being a kid again. And now it gets really, really interesting. Almost 3/4 say that playing with toys, buying toys, let them forget about the day-to-day worries. And that is the basic concept of the inner child. Because the inner child is something that we used to be, right? And then at one point we had to like pay invoices, we had to do promotion talks, annual talks, we had to, you know, do taxes and stuff like that. And this is something that is especially interesting nowadays because, as we all know, we live in a multi-crisis. It's tough to read the newspapers at the moment. It's tough to go outside. And just to have one moment, you know, that lets you forget this for a couple of minutes, hours, something like this, you know, is really cool. And this number is especially interesting because to me and to the kids also, and we just had a conversation over here, right? It also lets you feel like a child again. And that is the reason, now I understood it. This is why Smith Toys looks exactly the same. It's not a retail store, it's a time capsule. It lets you time travel, right, back to your childhood, because as you move and see all the toys from Mattel, from Barbie, Hot Wheels, right, you are maybe 8 years old again. And I was like, wow, this is maybe the most powerful thing a brand can do, right, to transcend time and space. And then we went deeper into the numbers and we found out a little more. This is also really interesting. And this is more or less my, you know, biography. 55%, it's more than every second person in this room, right? It's still a big number. Want to buy toys that they couldn't afford when they were small, they couldn't have. So that is something that also gives them healing, you know, afterwards. So when I bought my Turtles van, it was also partly because it did heal some of my wounds that I had, you know, growing up not having this. This is an interesting number too. Almost 60%, right? Say, hold your breath. Toys make them feel loved and secure. What does it mean to, you know, feel loved? But in German we would say, Wohlbefinden, geborgsam sein, yeah? That is more or less the feeling that you had when you grew up with your parents, you know, when you, like when life was not difficult, not complex. And this is something that's interesting too. And the last thing, and I think this is something, well, that goes more to the directions of the Kidults too, is people love it when they somehow get the feeling that this is exclusive, and they love it, you know, if they feel they are part of a special community. So in the end, toys are status symbols too. And that is a big change, because when I was a university student, I was an international bachelor student, so, you know, like I was management, hedge funds and stuff like that. I hid my comics when I had a date. I hid my action figurines when I had it. I would never say that I'm playing video games, right? And now, as you can see, like from the first picture, people are displaying their toys with pride. They're posting stuff on Instagram with pride. I've seen so many videos of adults buying, not buying only, but actually creating landscapes for their Hot Wheels, you know, to post them on Instagram and get millions of likes, you know. This is how things have changed. So it's not only emotional in the sense that it heals you, but it's also emotional in the sense that it gives you somehow a good feeling about your status and a feeling that you have achieved something in life. So some people aim for a PhD degree, and I'm aiming for toys, you know? But this is how it works. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show the next slide. Do we have competitors here? Hasbro, raise your hand if you're here. Okay, you're doing well. Stealth mode, right? Okay, we were like, okay, we talked with Mattel about the results, and we're like, yeah, this is like really interesting to but could you tell us something about purchase behavior as well? And well, I wasn't sure, you know, let's look into the sales funnel. And now, this is an exclusive number. I'm not sure if anyone has ever done this. On the different level within your purchase decisions, you know, with the main factors affecting your behavior. So how do you generate interest? Meaning, oh, I've seen something, I think this is interesting, I might look into this. Number one is, it's exclusive, hard to get, right? This is a no-brainer. But if you have something that you want to market and tell them, okay, this is really hard to get, right? Or you have to stand in line, in a waiting line, you have to raffle to get it, you know, this might increase the likelihood of interest. The second one is clear escapism, right? If you really use the codes, I mean visual codes, language, you know, that let people feel like they're childs again, makes 20%, you know, of the power. And this is very important for you guys, because usually people say, hey, we are advertising this to adults, so it needs to look clean and stylish and premium. I'm saying maybe we have to rethink this, you know, and we have to advertise this with all the codes that kids love too. And then this is the one, you know, where people feel loved, so we have to show that this is really about, you know, in German, Wohlbefinden, wholesomeness. The second one is really interesting too, you know, if you show that you are part of an exclusive elite, you know, if you're really about status building, that is something also that drives purchase decision. So this is something, you know, 30% makes you be interested in it, and then 60% will make your desire go crazy if you have the feeling, okay, this is something special too, okay, maybe I look into this. And now this is really funny. When it's really about purchase, so we are not only at the purchase stage now, right? 73% are about all those things that I told you before. And then we did, because we're curious, we added one question. How do you buy stuff for kids or other people? So if you buy toys for yourself, it's about being a kid again. It's about status building, right? It's about the things that you couldn't afford when you were small. But if you buy kids for others and your kids, it's about good quality, no harmful ingredients, right? Good brand, good reputation. And this really turns around. There's only one thing that is rational when you ask adults why they buy stuff. Original quote, it's a good investment. I keep telling this to my wife too. And actually all my employees too. And I was sitting with like all the guys in the room, and I was like, hey, do you know that, like, that we feel this is a good investment? They, yeah, sure. I always keep telling my wife and my girlfriend, I buy this Pokemon cards and this set and this Master of the Universe figurine, right? It's a good investment. And I was like, yeah, me too. And then we were like, where do you check the price increase? And we had no idea where to check the price increase, right? So it was just for us, like psychologists call this cognitive dissonance, you know, when you're trying to find reasons, you know, why this is okay. And this is like really, really fun. And last thing, which is called post-ownership. So once you bought it, and once you want to showcase that you bought it, right? It's really about, you know, I did it. I achieved something in life, and I made it. And I think knowing those things gives us a better understanding, a more deeper understanding about the power of toys and why they might have a healing power. And I'm quite on time, right? Thank you very much.
Yeah. Super interesting. For everyone who was not able to write it down now properly, we send you everything, of course, afterwards. You also get like a goodie bag before you are going out. Please help yourself. We are giving you something to take away. If anyone has any questions, just let me know what one. Now is the time to ask him something, or maybe then later. You can also write down and send it to us. That's also possible. Oh, someone is raising. Ah, yeah. Good to have you here.
Hi, Tuan. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question. Like, I was like a really passionate Sims player back in the day. And I feel like they're making some mistakes right now. I don't know if you've looked into it, but I believe those updates that they're doing are not really speaking to the community. In your opinion, if you had to talk about Sims and what they have done wrong, like where did the nostalgia go wrong? Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you know anything about Sims?
Wow, that is a very specific question.
Just because, you know, I didn't play any car games or anything like that as a girl, but like rather with my girlfriend's Sims. Is there any connection?
I haven't really specifically looked into the Sims right now, right? But what I can tell you is that there's one very interesting thing that we are seeing now is that some things go in waves, right? If we talk about nostalgia, nostalgic reasons and powers, some people may do the mistake of stretching the IP by like making it not pure anymore. And sometimes it's better, and I'm not sure if that's a commercial argument that I should be raising, and I'm looking at the communication guys here, if I'm allowed to say so, right? I'm gonna put it differently, okay? Politically corporate correct. Look at the sneaker industry. They found a very, very interesting recipe. They are putting out sneakers in a strategic way. They put them out and then they cut them, right? Why is that? Because sometimes if a very good sneaker brand knows this piece is selling very well, they make the decision to discontinue the line and wait for a good moment, you know, to bring it back. And I think many brands and publishers are not mastering the art of discontinuing and bringing it back, which is actually a very good point, because I forgot a slide, right? About the franchises, yeah? About what to bring back. And again, we had one special question in the end, actually 2 or 3, right? Asking all those people, hey, imagine you were the CMO of Mattel. What line would you produce? What would you do? And this is only recommendation from the community, from, you know, the participants. It's not an agency recommendation, but I love it very much. People would go crazy for Sailor Moon and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So if anyone is hearing me at Mattel right now, please bring back Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? This would be awesome. And this is actually the point. Every IP has its time, and you as a brand need to know when the time is right, you know, to bring it back and not to overstretch it.
One last one.
Oh, Santiago, dangerous.
Just a simple question: Do you see any differences between the buying patterns of male and female Kidults? Do they buy different things? Do they justify it in a different way?
Men tend to justify or underline the investment aspect a little bit more than women. But apart from that, it's astonishingly similar, same. Yeah.
So thanks again, Juan. And yeah, now it's time to grab a goodie bag. Thanks for coming by, take the long journey to come to the Mattel booth, and let me know if you need anything else. I'm happy to answer all the other questions. Thanks.